So I think as a young child, I was always very sensitive. I always felt things, but I never really paid it much attention. And until I was about 20 years old, I was having lunch with a friend, and suddenly I saw her father. This time I didn't push it away. I said, okay, I'm going to listen. And I started to relay a message about her father, and I'm just talking away. And it was a very comforting, very healing message. And then I looked up at her and I just saw tears pouring down her face. And I had realized in that moment that, oh my gosh, like these messages can really bring quite a bit of healing and comfort to people who are grieving. And so that was sort of the start of my journey as a medium up until this point. And so I think a lot of people come to me looking for that healing, looking for that closure of a loved one that's crossed over. And so it is my goal to bring them that peace, to help them kind of maybe go through their day that gives them a little bit more comfort and peace. So I always wondered whether or not I would sit down with somebody and no one would show up. And so it's quite an interesting process. So when you get quiet and listen deeply and allow the ego to sit down, suddenly there's a knowing that someone is there. And I might feel a pressure, or I might feel, I often feel pressure in my ears or buzzing in my ears. And when you start that process of deep listening, the words will sort of just come to you. And then you just begin the message. It's not like I see people like I see you. It is almost a daydream, where you know that someone is there and it's not just your mind, it's very vivid, it's a very vivid daydream. When I hear spirit, it sounds very much like a cell phone that is not quite in service or not quite in range. And so it's as if you have to piece together what you're hearing. It's almost a very soft, buzzing pressure in your ears. It feels very much like a pressure. And you'll get half words, and you'll have to piece that together. And over time, I've gotten better at it to just sort of let it flow and just sort of say what I think they're saying. And 9 times out of 10, it's the perfect message for the person sitting in front of me. I never want to hear anything about the person coming to me. I don't want my own mind to make up story or make up connections. So I want to know the least I can about the person who's sitting in front of me. In fact, when I'm talking with someone, I prefer them to just sort of maybe nod or just sit quietly. I don't even want to hear, yes, well, tell me that makes sense because when he died, he said this, or I was, when he died, he really wanted me to, great Aunt Tilly's, necklace to go to my niece. No, I want the person in front of me to be silent. It allows me to listen more deeply and not try to make sense of what the person's story might actually be.